Are you feeling overwhelmed and uncertain about how to scale your business sustainably? Do you have big dreams for your business, but you're struggling to turn them into reality? Or maybe you're just tired of sacrificing your health, your well being, time with your family, and your own self care all in the pursuit of success. Not only is this not sustainable, but it can lead to increased stress and decreased productivity in the long run. Don't let the chaos of running a business hold you back any longer. Join our 12-month Real Women, Real Business Mastery program and start building the business of your dream with clarity and confidence. If you're ready to achieve six-figure plus revenue growth, rediscover your passion for your business, and say goodbye to overwork, then let's chat. Book a free business planning session at aboutshaunalynn.com/plan. Check out the link in the show notes. Hello and welcome to the Real Women, Real Business podcast. I am your host, Shauna Lynn Simon, and today I am being joined by Jeanne Omlor of Jeanne Omlor International. She is a multi-seven-figure online business coach, and she actually got herself out of deep debt. You know, I love talking money because us women don't love talking about money. So we're going to talk about a little bit about that today, because not only did she get herself out of deep debt, she got herself online and she built a business to $1 million in only 17 months without using ads. And that's a big misconception that people are often talking about, is that we need to use ads. And she has since then scaled it to multi-millions in just 5 years. So we're going to dive a little bit into that as we go, of course. But she's just a phenomenal business coach. She is a $1 million coach, but that doesn't mean that she doesn't have some fantastic ideas for you no matter where you're at in your business. So welcome, Jeanne.
Thank you. And you're completely right about that. You have to start somewhere, right?
You have to start somewhere. You did. I mean,
Uh-huh.
and even just
Yeah.
talking about, I appreciate you sharing the fact that you were in this deep debt as a part of your
Mm,
story, because I think
mm,
it's something that there's so much shame often attached to that.
mhm,
And the fact that you were able to address it, get yourself out of it, is incredibly
mm,
powerful. But I know there's probably people listening today that are just drowning in it. What's your best
mm,
advice for someone who's feeling buried in debt, to just help them to overcome that mindset even?
Well, I mean, there's debt and there's debt. I had zero shame about my debt, like none,
Good.
because I went into debt because I'd gone through a really bad divorce. Okay. And I was like, well, I mean, I was very responsible
Sure.
before, I mean, at all times, but it just happened. So I just thought, well, this happened, and it's not because I've been irresponsible. It just happened, and I'm just going to have to not let it eat at me, because it wasn't from, if it's from, buying a bunch of Manolo Blahnik shoes and dresses and, vacations you shouldn't really be going on, then it's like, well, maybe I shouldn't have done that, but I didn't do that. So zero shame. It was just, okay, I'm pretty stoic. This is what happened. I can't let this ruin my life. I'm just going to keep going, and I'm going to get out of it eventually. But I also moved all of my credit to 0% credit cards before my credit was destroyed. Because if you move it
Okay.
before that's the thing that people do not do. Understand why they're going into debt. They see the score start to drop. They should be getting a 0% credit card to shift the balance to keep the credit score high. And
Right.
then they're spreading that over. You get then, 22 months sometimes. And then
Yeah.
you can then take out another one. And it's a way to keep your credit score up. And then you get longer to pay it off. People aren't thinking. I always did that because A, I wanted to keep my credit intact. And
Sure.
B, it just gave me all this more time then I just shift it to another one and get another one. And so I just kept doing that. So I never really paid interest on my debt. I think that the shame comes when you're pouring money down a drain every month, throwing money out so
Right.
before when you see your credit start to drop a little, take out a credit card before that happens at 0%. And some of them are actually, you don't even need to move the balance. You can just purchasing. So that's what I did. It's
Right.
structuring that. And if you're smart about it, you can really structure with credit cards.
And that's a really good point. And if you're finding that you can't find the credit cards, maybe they're not available in your area, or perhaps for whatever reason you don't have enough income or credit history in order to be able to get
Right.
one, then see about getting a line of credit that's at least a lower interest rate than those credit cards
Right.
as well.
Now,
Like,
now,
there are options. Yeah.
yeah, but here's the big gift here.
Hmm.
There are people that can help you actually get rid of that debt. Okay. I have a
Yes.
client that's going to come in and she had a lot of debt. And she said, I hired this coach that just, and she goes, he wiped out legally a bunch of debt. I said, what? She goes, there's so much that you can
Yes.
do about credit debt that, so find a coach that is a credit debt coach. And I said, you are kidding me. She goes, no, I had like, it was a significant amount, like
Right.
$20,000. And I said, what? She goes, oh yeah, there's just so much stuff you can do without going bankrupt. Okay.
Right.
And then it takes a bit of time. And so understand there's sometimes an answer that you don't know. And I'm not a credit card coach.
Sure.
I do know there are some around and some of them are pretty good and they know their stuff because they were in debt and they figured out all this legal stuff that we don't know about credit and about how to get out of credit debt without creating a bankruptcy. So always remember that there's always an answer you don't know about to everything.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I
Right.
think today we have so many resources at our disposal and so many opportunities to be able to find the information that we're looking for. So yeah, go seek it. But even to that point though, so you've got a couple of options. You can get some of that debt wiped out potentially. You
Mm-hmm.
can, transfer things to 0% credit cards.
Yes.
But one of the best ways to get out of debt is simply to make more money, right? Like this
No,
is like, it's a
exactly. I mean,
reduce cost, make more
yes.
money. Like
Oh no, I mean, I just put that like on a hold that okay, at least I'm not losing money, right?
exactly. Yeah.
And then you're right. Then I just had to make more money because, but that was my goal. It was like, okay, just keep that I'm not like worried every month about money being lost. See, the
Right.
stress comes from money loss.
Yes.
Stress really, like you could have credit card debt and you're paying no interest on it. Really shouldn't worry you because in the end, if you're not
Right.
paying, right? So then you're correct. Then it was like, okay, bring some cash flow. And then I just paid them all off,
Right,
which
right.
was very, out of very, very satisfying.
So let's talk a little bit about how you did that though, because you said you got yourself online and you built this $1 million business in 17 months. That is less than a year and a half. Like for anyone
Right.
who's not doing the quick calculation of how many months
Yeah.
this is, that's a pretty quick turnaround. I know a lot of people who are like, I've been in business for 6 years and I'm still in debt and I haven't made $1 million yet. So, what are some of the strategies that you use to be able to scale that business?
Sure. Now, full transparency, I was already coaching for 8 years.
Okay.
So I had not gotten there.
Okay.
Okay. I
So it
was
wasn't
doing,
a launch to, it wasn't a zero to,
no, it was zero, but it wasn't zero experience as a business person.
sorry, that's
Okay.
what I meant.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it was 8 years and I was doing pretty okay with that. I mean, it wasn't going to get me where I was now because that was teaching,
Sure.
that was, that I used to have some designers as clients actually. So that was
Okay.
all businesses, helping them with marketing and helping them to make more money and sell whatever it is more. And also I did some executive coaching, but for me, and a lot of my clients were doing way better than me. Um, and, and then I had to move and there was a life change, a divorce actually. So we moved to another city and it was after 2 years in that city, was in the people don't really invest that much. And I thought, this is not working anymore. I gotta figure something out. So that was the point where I woke up one morning and I thought, okay, I need to do something because now I'm 54 and it's not like I'm getting any younger, right? And
Right.
I really want to be a success. I really want to make this work. So I woke up and I thought, I got to get myself online and I got to figure something out. So it was a huge, huge mountain to climb. It really was. Like when I think of it now, I'm like, there's so much. So I woke up and I thought, and a voice in my head said, if not now, when? I thought, oh, wow, look at your cat. If not now, when? And that is true. If not now for everything, when? There's
Right.
never, we are never ready for
Yeah, like let's
anything.
not wait until we're $100,000 in debt or whatever it is.
Right.
Like, yeah,
Just
let's
get help
just do it
now.
now. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I found a very inferior program, and I knew it wasn't going to be perfect, but one of my gifts is understanding that nothing is perfect in life. Okay. Nothing's ever going to be perfect. That doesn't mean you don't do stuff because
Sure.
you're living in la la land and you're like a child if you're demanding that everything is perfect. Are any marriages perfect or relationships or businesses or health or, you know what I mean? Like sometimes we
Yeah.
have perfect health, but we're not. We get sick sometimes. So the
Yeah.
point is, no situation is perfect, ever.
Right.
So I thought, you know what? I have to do something. I'm just going to hire these people and I'm going to make the best of it. That was my attitude. I think with that
Okay.
kind of an attitude, you're always going to win because you make lemonade out of lemons every single day, all day long, every
It's
day.
so true. So
Yes.
true. And
And
they actually say, like
yes.
in the entrepreneur world, if you can get something done 80%,
Yes,
70%, even
those are the
70%, I
numbers.
believe is the magic number of like that you don't need it to be 100%. It doesn't need to be
Right.
perfect.
Well,
Yeah.
80% is a number, the 80/20. That the
80
80
20.
is if somebody
Yes.
can do it 80% as well as you and you're going to save time, hire them. Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. That's the rule.
Yeah.
So luckily, I know that. So I don't go into things and I don't hire coaches thinking they're going to be perfect, thinking everything's going to be perfect. I go in thinking perhaps this person can show me something I don't know and get me further along.
Right.
And it won't be perfect, but it'll be worth it. That's my
And
thing.
you'll,
Is it worth it, but not perfect? That's the thing. But I think a lot of people in everything, relationship, marriage, hiring anybody, they actually want 100% perfection in that relationship. And that's not, I mean, you've seen this, right?
oh, yes.
And then they're complaining, well, your expectations are a little high because nothing will be perfect. Now, I'm
right.
a really good coach and people are happy, but is it perfect? Probably not perfect. Nothing's perfect, you know? But anyway, so I got online and I plunked down 10K credit cards. There you go with the credit cards again. See, 3 different
Right.
credit cards.
Right.
I thought, okay, I got to make this work. I have to make it work, not them, me, because I
Yeah.
knew that they weren't going to help me that much. I could see. And then I went online and they were teaching ads and I thought, well, ads aren't going to work for me. That I figured out right away. Okay.
Good
Ads
for
don't.
you.
Yeah. I thought, well, this is not. And since I did invest like 90K trying different ads once I had budget, but they never
Sure.
worked well. Never worked well. So I figured out, and okay, it wasn't working. I said, wait a minute, I paid you 10K. So what are we doing here then? They said, well, you need to do organic marketing. And I didn't know what that was. I'd never heard of that. And I said, what, like carrots? And they said, no, Jean. I literally said that for joke. And they said, no, Jean, not like carrots. I said, well, then like what? They said, it's basically getting clients without ads online. I said, okay. And how do I do that? Because there's no trainings in your program because your program's
right.
all about ads. And they said, well,
Right.
they said, go talk to people. 4 words of coaching, go talk to people. Okay. That was
Oh,
my
yeah.
coaching. And I thought, okay, I'm running with it. I didn't sit there and complain, oh, blah, blah. Thought, okay, I'm running with it. If people do this, then I'm going to figure this out. If this is a thing, and I thought, oh, this is a thing. I can talk to people. I'm great at that. And it's
Sure.
free. It's free. So I just went and talked to people and I figured out how to get clients talking to people through content, through speaking, through conversations. And I figured it
Right.
out in 8 weeks. And I lived through hell. I mean, I was working nonstop trying to figure this out, thinking this must work. I was
Right.
desperate. I was desperate, actually. And on the 8th week, I got my first high ticket client, and my daughters and I danced around the house. Okay. I
I
remember
love
that
it. I
because they
love it.
they saw it. I was like, ah, I figured it out. It was a eureka moment. After that,
Hmm.
started getting more clients. Like, how did you do this? How did you do this? And that's how I got to 1 million. And by the way, a few months after I started, COVID started. So
Oh,
many
yeah.
people needed to learn how to get clients sitting at home with a computer
Right.
and a phone
The go talk to people isn't actually going out and talking to people anymore. It's finding
online.
them. Yeah.
Yeah. So it
Wow.
saved a lot of people's livelihood. I did that. And I'm very
But
proud of that because that's my mission in life is to help people to thrive. Because I didn't thrive, so I'm emotionally connected to helping people not be where I was.
I think that's important. I think that you bring up a really good point there of, that's a mission for you to make that impact. And I think everyone, for the most part, is, especially anyone listening to this podcast, is out there in the world trying to make an impact. It's up to
Mhm.
each of us to decide what that impact looks like. But good for
Mhm.
you for being able to identify it and recognize it and be able to really embrace it to the point
Mhm.
where you are helping people. Because I mean, the money will come. If you're doing what you love and you're doing it well and you're helping people, the money will come. But it's not that simple.
Okay, I don't agree with that. Okay, because I lived like that for years as an actress and the money never came.
Oh, what I'm saying
Yeah.
is, if you are in the right place, I'm
Yes,
not saying it magically comes. That's what I'm saying. That's why I said it's not that simple.
it's not
I'm not
simple.
saying that you just sit back and wait for it. I'm
No,
saying,
you
but if
don't.
you are leading with that,
Yes.
then you can figure out the rest of it
Yes.
to
However,
monetize
there are
it.
exceptions like actors because we were doing the work.
Oh,
We were doing the work and the
right.
money didn't come. Okay, because
I understand.
not
Okay,
everything's equal. But
that's fair.
if you do what you love and there's a market for it, because a lot of people go, oh, I just want to do this, Sean. I'm like, great. Who's going to pay you? Because
Yeah.
get it? I want to do this. That's awesome. And it's very obscure. And I don't think there's a lot of clients for that, but that's what I really want to do. Okay. They have to see if there's a market for it. And
Yes.
if you love what you're doing and there's a market for it, and you have your marketing in place, then the money will come. That's
Absolutely.
what I've understood now. Okay.
Yes. Yes. I
Sorry to
don't disagree with
contradict
you.
you. Yeah.
No, no, I apologize if I was unclear about that. You're not
Right.
contradicting me. I don't disagree with that. That's why I was
Yeah.
saying like all those things are important, but
Yes.
that's not the complete package was what I was
No.
saying there. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And like, cause like, positive thinking and all of that, positive thinking and positive action. You don't, positive thinking is PTPA, positive thinking, positive action. The PT
Right.
doesn't work on its own often, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. You can dream about all the things that you want and you can make all the vision boards that you want, but if you're not taking any action towards it, it's not
Yeah.
actually going to happen. Right.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Sometimes it does because you're taking other actions and it magically happens, but we get it. Yeah.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that was how I got to my first million was just, and I did it. And the funny thing, it was very simple. I did it all on my profits were insane that first because I
Sure.
had no help. So I was doing all my content, all my sales, all my lead generation, all the coaching, everything except I had one or two people helping me. So it was very high profits.
Right. Right. And now when you were saying that you were doing everything yourself and making this kind of money though, and I gotta imagine it would have been taking its toll. How are you balancing all of that time?
I'm pretty gritty and I was just so glad it was working out.
Right.
Thrilled that it was working and I could throw myself into something that was working. I loved it. No, then I started hiring people because
Gotcha.
I don't believe in burnout. Like
Right.
then I hired more. And now I want to, the more you go, it's like, what else could I get somebody to do? And then you get better at, I've always been big on delegation, but
Good.
there's a point where it's like, well, I don't want to do that. I shift off everything that I don't want to do, but I still do my sales, most of them. And
Good for you.
I do a lot. I still do a lot. I'm still very involved in a lot. I do some lead generation even. I
Okay.
help. Yeah. So because that keeps me on top of what I'm actually coaching about. Does that make sense?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need to stay
Yeah.
connected to what's happening in
Yes.
today's market, of course. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's definitely key. So when you're saying that you scaled without ads, and you say
Mm.
that you were telling me that you've scaled without any sort of complicated technology and you were
hmm
going out and speaking to people, like what did that look like?
Well, basically, there's very little you need to do, but you need to do it well and a lot of it, and you get better at it.
Okay.
It's like if you want to play a musical piece, you just you know you practice it over and over, right? And
Right.
you get better and better. So basically, it's really about telling stories in your content, right? And getting your content really good to a point where people are intrigued by you, getting your messaging right. And that goes for all businesses. That's just like all businesses need their messaging right, of what they're doing that's creating value for their client and not just like
Right.
the designer
Why does it
goes,
matter?
yeah, I'm an interior designer. Well, I love it, but how are you better than all the other ones?
Right.
I help XYZ people create living spaces that blow their minds. See the
Right.
difference?
Yeah, absolutely.
Who
Yeah,
who are you going to hire? The one that says interior designer or the one that has that message I just said? The one that
absolutely. Yeah.
tells a story. So there's that. And then there's, the content. And then there's literally starting conversations with people on social media and
Right.
intriguing them enough to have them want to get on a call with you where you sell your services.
And so one of the things that I really like that you said there was you're talking about the repetition part of it, because I think that, it's easy for us to say like, well, I did an ad, for example. I know we're,
hmm
we're not talking about paid ads here, but I
Yeah,
did an
sure.
ad, it didn't work.
hmm
Okay, did you try another ad? Did you try a different message? And I'm using the word ad, but it doesn't have to be an actual
Could be
paid ad. I'm
anything.
talking about like anything. Yeah, you're doing any
Yeah.
sort of marketing out there. It didn't work. Well, you need to keep trying. So at what point should someone be trying the same thing over and over again versus changing it up? Because that's also another thing that I see people do. They put one thing out, that didn't work. I'm going to change every aspect of it and try
Yeah,
again.
yeah. You know what? There's no like time for each thing, but basically it's the mindset of I'm going to make this work no matter what. And when you have that mindset behind everything you do, then it's like, okay, that didn't work. What do I do? Okay. And sometimes you're at an impasse. It's like, okay, I've tried a lot of things. Look, business is testing. Okay.
Yes.
I've tried tons of things that didn't work. Tons. That's okay. That didn't work. Okay. What else can we try? But it's not about throwing mud at walls. Sometimes you want to throw some mud at walls at the beginning and just see what's kind of
Sure.
like working a bit. But I think what it is, it's the attitude. of the business owner. If a business owner does something once, oh, that didn't work. That's pretty negative. Okay. Like you said, what are you going to do now? It's almost like they're waiting to fail and give up. If things aren't
Mm,
perfect. Okay. So the ones that always succeed, and there's a million books about this, about people that succeed, right?
yeah.
Millions of books, hard luck stories, people that come from other countries and no money, no dime, and they have, diseases, and they make it. Why? Because their attitude is I'm just going to do this thing. And they
Yeah.
might give up on an aspect, but they're not giving up on the general idea. Okay. They might give up on a
Yes.
marketing avenue because, oh, that didn't work. Okay. But they're not giving up on themselves. And that is what made me successful. Is like there was no option to give up. If I were waiting to give up, it's almost like when people are in a relationship and they have one foot in and one foot out.
Right.
They're not in it. They're one foot, and that's people are one foot in their business and one foot out. I see this so much. There's there's all this mindset, well, if this doesn't work and I'm going to quit. You're never going to win if you have one foot in. You have to be all in. You have to be all in your business to make it work because it is not going to work by accident.
No. And I mean, if it is a matter of, yeah, it's time to cut and run, then that's a strategic decision to make. But you
Yes.
don't just, but to your point, you've got to be all in and you've got to try everything before
Right.
making a decision like that. And I think it's something that bears repeating because no matter how many times I say it, no matter how many times my guests say it, no matter how many times we hear it, I feel like people aren't really listening to
They
what
aren't.
this message is that you just admitted not only were you failing when you were doing some of these things, and by failing, I'm that's not a negative word. This
Right.
is like this is it's a part of the learning process. It's a part of the process. And you talked about how, you made mistakes as you were figuring things out and you still make mistakes. And I think that's the key. Because if you came on
Yeah.
here and said, I got it all figured out, I mean,
Mm.
let's be real, no one's got it all figured out.
No, no, I do have the organic marketing pretty much figured out. However,
Sure.
ads, I mean, complete failure. We tried and tried and tried and tried all sorts of stuff. They worked a little bit, but it was not worth the money, time, energy, and work that
Right.
went into ads. Ads don't work well for coaches. I don't know if you
Yeah.
know that. They used to work like, maybe 7 years ago, but they have not been working for a good 5 years.
No, and even the coaches that I do talk to that are using ads are spending an enormous amount on ads. And yes, they're getting technically a profit return on it, but it's
Hmm.
not as though like if you're spending $10 on an ad, you're making $1,000. It's
Yeah.
it's um,
Yeah. Their profits are pretty low, but they'd
mhm.
rather just work for low profits. I'd rather just not do ads and have higher profits and have fewer clients and less work, right?
Right.
Because
Right.
sometimes it creates more work and you're like, wow, if I really work this out, that would be like not so much, it's not worth it. Because we
Right.
have costs in a business even without ads. I have team members to pay and back end and front end and
Of
we're paying for all
course.
sorts of we're paying for stuff, right? Services. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean it's really that. It's that grit. There's many books written on grit. And if you are expecting things to just be smooth, then you shouldn't be a business person, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like
And
a
I mean,
marriage. If you expect marriage to be completely smooth, you shouldn't get married.
yeah, like I think when I became an entrepreneur, I remember thinking like everyone told me all the stories, and this is going back a number of years. So the internet
Mhm.
wasn't what it is today either. But
Mm.
I'd heard all these stories, and do you really know what you're getting into? And I'm like, yeah, yeah, I know. I know what I'm getting myself into. And I
Mhm.
really thought I did. I really thought I had my eyes wide open going into entrepreneurship. And I
Mhm.
don't think anything that anyone tells you or anything you see out there can ever really prepare you for what it's
No,
really like, all the ups and downs, all the challenges. And yeah, you got to just keep going there on the toughest days. You got to keep going. That doesn't mean you're sacrificing your health. To your point of, you don't believe in burnout.
no.
I've been burnt out. I now work with my clients to ensure that they don't get burnt out.
Yes,
And a
yes.
lot of times, unfortunately, they're coming to me on the brink of it. And so
Mhm.
it is something that it is a reality that we're facing on a regular basis, but it doesn't
Yeah.
have to be that way. And so what I love
No.
about what you're saying is you're talking about having grit, but you're
Mhm.
not talking about burning yourself out. Because I think sometimes we misunderstand that.
It's different. Grit is interior. Okay. It is
Yes.
an interior intrinsic motivation. Okay. Yes, sometimes we need to do hard work. I am so sorry, but Shauna Lynn, we have to work hard sometimes. That's just
Yes.
life. So when people
Yes.
go, well, I don't want to do that, and I'm thinking you don't want to do any work. So if you don't want to do any work, but you think that, I mean, nobody on this earth that is super successful has gotten there without doing some hard work. Like all those billionaires or multimillionaires. Yeah, they have a lot of people helping them now,
Right.
right? Right? But there is in a business, you do need to put the reps, you do need to try and you need to work hard sometimes. I'm just saying if that's sustained for many years, you're going to burn out. Sure.
Of
You know?
course. Of
Right.
course.
But
Yeah.
I mean,
But
anybody else might have burnt out with what I did. I was so motivated and it was so
right.
fun to finally have my business work. Why wouldn't I want to work?
Yeah,
Why would I say,
exactly.
oh, well, now I want to take a vacation? No, I was like, wow, this is working. I'm helping people. I'm making money. It was great. It was awesome.
Right.
It's exciting because there's nothing more edifying and satisfactory than something working,
Oh, yeah. I
right?
can, yeah,
Like,
I can definitely
really
attest to that.
working. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So again, it's like, what do you really want? People have to, what do I want? People have to ask themselves, what do I really want? Do I want to really do whatever it takes and be all in to create this business? Or do I want to be that person that just expects it to work because I heard somewhere on the internet that you can become a millionaire without doing any work?
Oh, sure. There's a quick fix for everything these days, right?
Well, you can't. You can't become a millionaire without doing anything unless you buy a lottery ticket. That's it.
No,
That's the answer.
but what I'm saying is like there's all sorts of ads all over the place saying if you just do this one
Oh,
thing, you're
no,
going to make
no,
millions of dollars. You know, like
no.
it's not like that.
No, it's
Even
not.
if someone's cracked the code on a particular strategy, that doesn't mean, so for example, you said like you've mastered the organic marketing and you can help someone with their organic marketing, but if they don't have that foundation to
Right.
start with,
Yeah.
doesn't matter what the organic marketing does, you're not going to get the right clients, you're not going to get the right product out there or service or
Right.
whatever it is. So
Right.
it's an all-encompassing thing. So you
Right.
can't, there's
Right.
no such thing as a quick fix magic bullet for all the
Well,
things that you're trying to do.
I must say, some people are lucky. We have had people come in and like massive amounts. I had a client come in and she made $91,000 in 4 weeks. I was astounded. I never did that. So sometimes there is a quick fix. You know what I'm
Sure,
saying? But
sure.
I can't sell that. I can't. When
Right.
people come in, I don't say, hey, guess what? You're going to do it this because I tell them about that and I say, now we can't promise that because that was extraordinary,
Of
but it can
course.
but what's amazing is she did the work.
She did
The
the
stars
work.
aligned and she did the work. And it just was amazing. Okay.
Right.
All right. But she had already been a coach for 4 years. So it wasn't like a complete newbie because we work
Right.
with people. So can you have magic happen? Yeah, but you can't like count on it. Right.
No, and again, I mean, it sounds like she had an established offering.
And she
She knew
did.
she understood her brand. And I mean, and I don't want to make too many assumptions here, but it sounds like from what you're saying that she already had some things in
She had a
place.
brand, but she wasn't making that much money.
Okay.
But she had a brand. You're right. She
Yeah.
had an established brand. True. Yes.
Yeah. All I'm saying, I guess, is like, you can't just have the marketing if you don't have
The offer.
the offer.
No,
You can't,
100%. If somebody,
there's,
yeah,
yeah,
if somebody comes to me with new offer, they are 100% not brand new, just started. They're not going to make 91K in the first month.
sure.
No, they won't.
Yeah.
Let's be real.
Yeah.
But you don't need to. Who needs to make 91,000 in the first month of your business ever?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Who does that?
Let's work
Right?
on making the first few sales, get some momentum
Although,
going.
although
Yeah.
I did help a person in the first week of her business ever, new coach, she made $10,800 the first week of working with me. New offer.
Wow.
So, it does happen. Okay.
Yeah,
New
that's
offer
incredible.
wasn't
Beautiful.
91, but it was 10,800 in the first week with a new offer. Never had a coaching business before or any business.
Wow. So that's it. Okay, so anyone who's listening to this, they're probably thinking like, "Oh, this sounds great, but how do they do it?" Now, obviously, the shortest answer is call you and work with you, but I'm sure they're probably looking for like some way of getting started on this. What kind of tips can you give for someone who, let's say they're like, I've been a coach for 4 years, I've got an established business, I've got an offer figured out, but I'm not getting the traction that I want.
Okay, well, you need a coach. Like 4 years and
Yeah.
you're not getting traction. There's nothing I can do for you with like a few words because it's not about just the information. Because it's been proven that if you just give people an info product, only 2 or 3% of them are going to be able to be successful. That's just the
Right.
numbers. Okay. Because you need coaching on it. There's a mindset. We have a mindset coach. I do mindset. There's actual coaching, and I value that. That's part of, so saying, if I could just say, hey, just go do this, then people wouldn't need us. They wouldn't. And I wouldn't, if I could do that, I wouldn't have a business because I'd be like, well, we don't need to have this business because I can just give them a word and they're going to go be successful. That's not how mentorship and coaching works. So I
Of
would say
course.
if you've been doing this for 4 years and you're not getting traction, hire a good coach that has done something that you want to follow in the footsteps. So there's another problem because some people go, oh, I'm going to get you to XYZ. Have you done that yourself? No, but I can help you do it. Yeah, but you haven't done that yourself. So you have no learned experience of what you have to go through and the pitfalls to try to save your clients time to get there. But you have a lot of people
Right.
offering stuff they've never done.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what, and here's the thing too. I will tell you that when I'm looking for a coach, I'm looking for someone who's been in the trenches, who's had their fair share of turmoil that they've gone through to see
Mhm.
their successes, because they're going to have a better understanding to be able to support the various challenges that I might be
Mm.
facing,
Yeah,
right?
I've been through all of that.
Yeah.
And even
And
of
that's
the
it.
whole ad circus I've been through. No, I've been through pretty much every problem you could possibly have
Right.
as a business.
And so when you were saying you mentioned that you have like a mindset coach, like what does coaching with you look like?
Okay, so we have programs. So we have a 12-week
Okay.
program and we have a whole year. And we have wonderful clients. We have, a Facebook group. We have all this. Now we have trainings in a vault, but if I gave you those trainings in the vault, you wouldn't be able to do it because you need the coaching with it. So it's
Sure.
the teaching aids. And then we have several coaches. We have group and then we have one-on-one. Now I do
Okay.
like a 1.5 hour group every week and I do one-on-one in that. And that's mind shifting. So it's not just the strategy. We're really into identity of a person that is the person that's going to bring in $1 million and all sorts of stuff. But we have a mindset coach who's a theta healer. We have a heart-based sales coach because you got to learn sales. But we
Yep.
teach it in a very non-disingenuous way. Everything we do, we want our clients to feel great about what they're doing and not sleazy. And then we have a wonderful content and copy coach because content's very important.
Of
Content and copy
course.
coach. He used to work for Universal Studios running their video content department. So I have a really good team. And then there's like a client success director. There's another head coach that does one-on-one. So we have a lot of help. And then all of my clients, no matter what level they're at, every single one of them has access to me on Facebook Messenger and can ask me questions whenever they want.
Love that.
So
Okay.
the goal is to just give as much coaching as my clients need and not limit it and not arm's length because it's sort of like attachment parenting. You just give them whatever they need and then there's no anxiety. Because my thing is I've always been very anxious, especially as a business owner. And
Right.
one of my goals is just to cut anxiety for people. There's no way to live. So I thought, what can make it no anxiety? Well, we can reach out whenever we want. That creates less anxiety because then they're
Sure.
not worried about like when they have to get on a call or ask a question. It's like, hey, I have a burning question. Great. Ask it whenever you want and I'll answer it,
Right.
even after
Yeah.
hours or on the weekend. So, and I'm
And
not
is that
worried.
sorry for one-on-one clients or group coaching or both?
Oh,
Amazing. Love it.
yeah. Yeah. But it's actually everything we do is a mix of group and one-on-one anyway.
Okay.
It's
I
all
understand.
group because what's best with human beings is a community and group, but also one-on-one. Both work best together. It's better than sheer one-on-one, and it's better than group. So actually, a group one-on-one is far more effective than just a one-on-one coach. That's what I've understood after 13 years of coaching.
What do you mean by a group one-on-one?
Well, you get group, it's
Right.
a hybrid. So you get group and one-on-one coaching
Oh, group and one-on-one. Sorry, I thought
in
you were saying
one
group
pro
one-on-one. Gotcha.
in one program.
In one program. I
It's
understand what you're
better.
saying.
It is
Yeah.
way better than just pure one-on-one because you're learning so much from the other people in the
From the
group.
other people.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
but pure group is definitely not as good as also the one-on-one action that you do need to get on a one-on-one and just get some private help as
Right.
well. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it
There's definitely
works the
a
best. It's really a really good model, actually.
Oh, that's wonderful. Amazing.
Yeah.
So, so how do people, so one of the things that you talk about is about how to leverage what you already know to help
Mm,
others. So
yes.
tell me about like what does that look like for someone if they're like, I know things. How am I going to leverage those things?
I love that. I know things. Okay.
I know
This is
things.
this is a lot of what I do. Some people come to me and they're not coaches, not certified, and they say, Jeanne, I really, really want to coach. And I'm like, great. What do you want to coach on? And I'll ask them and we get to something like maybe this. And I have created offers on the sales call from people that's just what they know. I'm like, what do you know? I'm like, well,
Right.
I'm really good at this. Have you ever thought of coaching somebody on that? No, I haven't. Is that something you'd like to do? Actually, it is. That's actually what I want to do. Great. But then sometimes they're like, no, I don't really want to do that. I'm like, great. Well, what is it that you do want to help people with? And then
Right.
they'll go through it. And that's leveraging what you know, because the thing about coaching, which is amazing, and I hope this does not change, is it's a free market. You don't have to be certified to coach somebody and collect money.
Right.
You just have to convince people that you're good at that and they want to pay you. Okay?
Sure.
Which is great. That's free market.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
There's all these things about like, making it like more, they were going to regulate it. And that's not a good idea because a lot of the coaches that are certified aren't good. Just a fact.
Agreed. Agreed.
A fact.
Yes.
So it's the good thing about the coaching industry. It is based on merit and also that you have to learn how to be a business person, which develops
Yes.
you as a coach. So there's a
Yes.
lot of value. A lot of people, they get certified and they're a life coach. Okay, but they don't know how to create a business. Well, I'm sorry, they don't understand and they don't want to create a business. They just want clients to come to them. They don't understand that becoming a business person makes them a better human being and a better coach because that
Absolutely.
develops you so much and they're missing that part
Right. Yeah.
in their head. And I question that. I'm like, you know what? If you're such a great life coach, how can you not understand that if you want to have a business, you have to actually hire somebody and create a business? There's some disconnect that they think they're
Yeah.
just going to, well, I'm going to help you. Well, how are you going to help people that are business owners? Even if you're not a business coach, how are you going to help them if you don't even want to create a business, which is what you really need to do to have a good life? There's some huge, enormous disconnect there.
There's a huge disconnect. Yeah.
Enormous. So that's the thing. If you're good at something and you've been doing it all your life and nobody's been paying you, often I can, like one guy was an addiction coach. He said, I am so good at this. I got myself past this addiction and I figured this system out. And I said, well, great. Do you want to coach on it? He goes, I'd love to coach on this. He goes, but I'm not certified. I said, there is no certification for your own system. He's like,
Right.
oh, that's right. Because he goes, no, I've never seen this anywhere. And I started helping him. I positioned him and we helped him get high ticket clients like immediately in a few
Yeah.
weeks. But it was more just his mindset that was holding him back. But his offer was great and people were paying him.
Yeah. And so from the other side
Amazing.
of this, so like for people who are listening to this and thinking that they need a coach themselves, maybe you're not already a coach or a consultant and you're thinking, but
Right.
you are thinking about business coaching, take this also as a bit of a warning in that, in talking about the regulation of the industry, you can get someone who's certified and that doesn't necessarily mean something. You can also
Mm.
get someone who's not certified and
Mhm.
doesn't necessarily do a good job. So the
Yes.
idea, you got to do some work on your own end there. You've got to do some vetting. If you are looking for a coach, you got to do some vetting to
Yes.
make sure. And to the point of what you were saying, Jean, about, have you done this? Like you're telling me, you're promising me all these things, but have you done it? Because if you haven't, how do you
Yes.
know that the system actually works? So you want someone with a
Exactly.
proven system
Yes.
that they're
Yes.
going to teach you.
Yeah. But then here's something else. You gotta, like when I first started, I didn't have testimonials because we have to start
Sure.
somewhere.
Everyone starts somewhere.
But you
Yeah.
just gotta, what you do to build your business up for all businesses that are service based, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And also selling, you have to find that first person that digs you and believes because you're like, I haven't done, and it's funny, the very first client I got for this offer, I'd already been coaching for 8 years. And he said, do you have any testimonials? I said, not for this. He went, oh, I said, for my other coaching, but to be honest, not for this offer. And he went, he's Canadian actually. He said, wow, you actually didn't create some weird fake testimonial. I said, no, it's not true. I said, to be honest, you would be my first client. He said, hmm. So he talked with his wife and he said, I'm coaching with you. My wife and I could not believe that you were so honest to say that you had never had a client for this offer. I'm hiring you.
That's powerful right there.
Isn't that power?
That
I just got goosebumps.
that being honest, being real, being authentic, showing up that way. And it's
Hmm.
amazing the impact that you can have. And you don't have to be
Hmm.
sleazy, you don't have to be salesy. We're not
Hmm.
trying to hook someone, we're not trying to pull the wool over
Hmm.
on someone. We are
Yes.
trying to help someone.
Yes. And
So
the point, my thing was, I will not lie. I just won't. I'm a bit
good
different.
for you.
I'm a bit different that way. We were brought up that way. You never lie.
Right.
Never. You just don't lie. Have I told a lie in my life? Yes. But it's not like it's a habit. It's not like I don't think it's a bad thing, right?
It's not an egregious
Yeah.
kind of lie
No, it's
that,
not like
yeah.
we just, in sales, people are told just to lie. In fact, in
Yeah.
our society, we're told it's all over media, people lie and we laugh at it. It's not
Yeah.
funny. Not funny for a husband to lie to a wife or a kid to lie to a mom, or why is
No.
that funny? But all over, lying is the government lies to us, politicians lie to us, everybody lies to everybody. And
Sure.
it's just like, seems to be like they think it's okay. It's not okay. It is not okay. And it erodes your self-worth to lie too.
Absolutely.
You know, the four
Yeah.
agreements, be impeccable with your word. That's one of the four agreements in the book, the four agreements. Super
Mm.
important. So I was just willing to let him say, well, I want, and I said, no, I haven't. I said, that's, like a deal breaker. I totally understand, however, I know I can help you and this is how, but no, I haven't. You would be my first client. He went, wow. And he came in and he before the first call, because we'd had a couple calls, he said, do you believe in the law of attraction? I said, I believe in the law of attraction with action. And he said, guess what? He goes, I got a 30K client just from signing up. And it never would have happened if I hadn't talked to you because you gave me this belief in myself already. And I just got a 30K client.
Oh, that's incredible. I,
Right.
yeah, and I love hearing stories like that. I can tell, I do, quick calls with people sometimes, and the idea is, of course, if I've got a program that can help you and we can get you
Mhm.
into it, that's great. But at the end of the day, you're still going to leave with some actionable tips.
Yeah.
And it's amazing what a conversation with a qualified coach can do to boost you. So now
Mhm.
think about it this way: if you're having that if that initial conversation that he had with you was able to result like that, imagine what working with you actually looks
Yeah,
like, right?
exactly. That's what she was saying. He
Yeah.
was saying. Um, so yeah, that was, and of course, then we started, and that was for his other business. That was for his web business that I wasn't even really helping him with.
Oh,
And he
okay.
said, "Is it just being in your orbit brought that in because it gave me more confidence?" And I told him it's 30K, and they said yes. And I said, "Wow, okay, great." So so yeah, that was the first one for this particular offer. So yeah, it's not about lying. It's about it's not about persuasion or convincing. It's about conveying to people the value that you can help create for them in real terms. What does this look
Hmm.
like? And you can't guarantee, but you can say, look, this is what we would do together and blah, blah, blah. Does that, and it has to be something that's not like, and you're just going to feel a little bit better. People aren't going to pay to feel a little bit better.
Right.
Okay. Mine is our goal is to maximize high ticket clients online without ads. That's it. That's the goal. They're like, okay,
Beautiful.
I dig the goal. Great. How does that work? Well, we do this and I show them da 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 and blah blah blah. And this is what it costs. And they go, great, I'm in. Or or they're not in or whatever. But we don't then try to persuade or cajole, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, you're not doing a hard sell there. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. It's a matter of if it's a good fit, then they're going to move forward. And if it's not,
Right.
then you're going to go on to the next person. And this goes back to what we talked about in the very beginning of just getting back out there. A no
Hmm.
does not mean you stop. A no
Right.
means you go on to the next person. And it doesn't mean,
Right.
yes, follow up with people and, check in with them, nurture some relationships, of course. But if they're saying no, don't stress out about like, oh my gosh, why did they say no to me?
Mm.
Evaluate it to the point that you need to in order to be able to make any adjustments that maybe do need to be made. But
Right.
otherwise, just move on. Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that he said yes. I'm sure you're glad that he said yes. And I mean, look
Yes,
at the
because that
business
was
that
that
you've
was the first
built.
client that we were dancing around the house. That was him.
That's
And
amazing.
then I
I
got
love
two
that.
more. I got two more that week. So I got three high ticket clients all in one week. And that was like, oh my goodness, this is working. So
Well,
yeah,
and you it sounds like you had an offer that made sense, that was valuable, that you knew was valuable.
very valuable.
But
Yes.
going back to the confidence, how much confidence did it give you when he said yes to be able to sell those next two clients?
A
How much
hundred
did that
percent.
impact?
That was the windfall. That was it. That thought Eureka, I'm onto something. And then I got two more quickly. And then that started the flood. I thought, okay, they love this. They want this. Who doesn't want to learn how to get high ticket clients online with no ad spend? Right?
Yeah. Yes, please. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much every entrepreneur. Exactly. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Oh, amazing. Well, listen, it looks like we're kind of coming up to our time here, but if there's one thing that we talked about today, because I know we touched on a whole bunch of different things, but if there's sort of one takeaway for people who are listening to this today, what do you want them to remember and to think about?
You are worthy and ready right now. Right now, you're worthy and ready because you're never going to be ready in your mind that your mind is just creating a lot of trash and stories, and those stories are not the stories you should be subscribing to. You are worthy and ready right now. And if you don't take action now, when? That's all. Because we are
Beautiful.
never going to be truly ready because there's always going to be a birthday or a vacation or Christmas or somebody sick or somebody doing this or the kids' problems or blah, 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 or debt or take your pick or all of those, right?
Right.
So
Yeah.
you are worthy and ready right now to create the life that you want. Go get it. Take a step, even though it feels super scary. And I like your little notice in the back. I'm so close to perfect that it scares me. My saying is the Eleanor Roosevelt one, do something every day that scares you. Because once you start
Yes.
scaring yourself and it starts to work, it's like I used to years ago, it was like when I first started coaching, my it was like I was jumping off a building with and I'm
Mhm.
wondering if a net would appear. Okay.
Right.
And the more I did that and a net did appear, you get addicted to that. You're like,
Yeah.
actually, doing things scary actually works out for me most
Yeah.
of the time. And even if it works out some of the time and some not others, I'm benefiting from it. Then you start to understand that doing scary things benefits you. So you are worthy and ready right now. That's the last word.
Beautiful. I love that. And Sean, if someone wants to work with you or find you, what's the best way for them to find you?
Basically, my name, JeanneOmlor.com. And
Perfect.
on there, there's work with us, and there's all my reviews, and you're going to have those in the show notes as well.
Yep,
And
it'll be in the show notes.
you can book a call there, and also just on social media like Jeanne Omlor on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook. You can reach out and chat with me.
Amazing. This has been such a joy. Thank you so much for joining me.
You're so welcome. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. So listen, if you're listening to this episode and you're liking what you're hearing, of course, the best way to support us is to like us on your favorite podcast platform. Don't forget to leave us a review and subscribe. And of course, the best way that you can really help us out and help out your fellow female entrepreneurs is to share this episode with someone that you know it can help. That is one of the greatest ways that you can show how much you appreciate this show. So until next time, everyone, keep thriving.